Dusseldorf.
Okay, cool. We're flying into, well, I'm flying into Cologne, and then I'm gonna get the train.
Yeah, flying to Dusseldorf, then getting the train.
It's a bit annoying that they don't have like direct flights to Dortmund anymore from like Luton or, well, for us, because it used to be so easy to go to YCS Bochum.
When I went to Bochum years ago, I also had to fly to Dusseldorf.
Ah, fair. Okay, sweet. We're live. I'm just gonna share the links on Facebook for people to hop in real quick. You must be really busy with orders right now for the new set.
Yeah, good timing. But yeah,
Yeah.
get my product tomorrow.
Oh, sweet. Oh, okay, cool. That's why the rest of the week is just gonna be non-stop, right?
Yeah. Tomorrow I'm opening. Wednesday I'm at locals selling stuff. Thursday I'm at locals selling stuff. And it's my birthday this week as well.
Oh shit! It's your birthday. So 28,
29.
29. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're just a year older than me. Sweet. You got anything planned for your birthday?
Just dinner with family.
Cool, man. Okay, we got a couple people coming in. We got 4 people in. So welcome everybody. We're about to get started doing between the rounds with the big man himself, Jordan, man. Uh, okay, how's everybody doing? Cool, I've shared everything. We'll give it like another 2 or so minutes, and then we will begin. Okay. Yo, what's up, everyone? We got like what 5 people now. All right, let's go. We'll get started. We'll get started. All right. All right, what's good, guys? It's your boy JY, and we have Between the Rounds, episode 2, and we have Jordan Gallagher, one of the best player in the UK, certainly the best Scottish player right now, and yeah, one of the best players in the world. He's been on a crazy run. He has double-digit Premier tops. He's topped events at every level: YCS, Euros, Nationals. He's come super close to winning Nationals twice, finishing third on 2 different occasions, and also finished top 4 at YCS Utrecht a couple years back. And yeah, we're going to be chatting away. We're going to be covering a lot of different topics. So yeah, Jordan, how you doing, man? How are you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, it's a pleasure and it's an honor. And I don't think we've properly spoke since the weekend we spent in Germany, like a couple weeks ago, where you went 10-0 and won the Montauban Regional. So yeah, like let's go back to the start of your kind of relationship with Yu-Gi-Oh. So like tell me, how did you first get into Yu-Gi-Oh?
God. The memories are so early that I I mix them up a little bit, but I want to say that like one of my cousins introduced me and a couple of the friends on my street to it. Like he brought his cards over and kind of like I don't even know if I could say taught us to play because I don't even know if he taught us the real rules. But like he showed us his cards and like me and the two people that lived on my street just got really interested after that.
Sweet. Like, did you remember like how old you were at the time?
Maybe 7 or 8.
Okay. And from there, from being like 7 or 8 years old, your cousin introducing you to the game, like how did it kind of escalate? What was like your journey like through the game?
So like I just played it casually with my friends, obviously for the first like many years. We would just like build decks that weren't legal and cheat and play against each other and just not know the rules. But eventually, like towards like end of primary school, like the three of us actually started going to a locals like in my area, but it wasn't like a real locals. It was held in like a comic book store. It didn't use the ban list. And it ran like it was traditional format. They let you use one of each band card. Like
Wow. Okay. Okay.
yeah, so like it was just kind of mostly kids who just like played all the cards they owned, and like I had a bunch of band cards in my deck because I just owned them. They were from the structured like Yugi structure deck had like band cards in it, so I just used them. Like my best card at the time I remember was BLS, like obviously,
Yo, that's
but
a good card.
that card was very banned for a long time. But yeah, BLS was in my deck. And at that locals, there was one guy that used to go who like actually played real Yu-Gi-Oh and knew like how to play, and he would come and just play like FTKs basically,
Oh
and like
my god.
FTK, he would like FTK children.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
but like he is how I eventually learned about like actual locals like that existed in Glasgow that like ran proper rules. But like eventually, me and both my friends stopped playing for like 4 or 5 years at that point. Towards like when I first started high school, we just
Okay.
stopped playing. But eventually, I was bored years later into high school. I needed a new hobby. So I decided to check out that locals that I learned about back when I was a kid and go and try replaying the game again.
Okay. And was it like when you were in high school, a couple years later, and you wanted to like find a hobby? What kind of drew you into Yu-Gi-Oh? Was it that the memories, like the past experience that you had, or did you watch the anime, or did you see people in high school playing? What drew you back in?
Say it's the memories mostly. Like I always liked the game. The main reason I actually stopped when we entered high school is my other two friends stopped. Like I really didn't want to, but like when they stopped going, I just didn't want to like go on my own every week to like the local game that we were playing. I eventually like picked it back up with a new friend I made in high school. We would like play each other casually, and then after that, I decided, yeah, I like this. I'm gonna start going like and playing the game again properly. And that was like 2011. I went to like my first tournament, which happened to be like the exact same weekend as the I think Generation 4 sneak peek. I think that was the
Okay.
first local I went to was like Generation 4 sneak peek weekend.
Okay. Wow. And then, so from going to your first locals at that sneak peek, um, like, did you play casually for a while? Like, when did you start to get competitive?
It was definitely casual for a while. Not that long. Like when I first went to locals, one of the things that also, yeah, like you said earlier, I was also watching the anime at the time, like Yu-Gi-Oh! GX mainly.
Okay.
So I was like really, I really liked the hero cards and like the Neospatians. I built a Neospatian hero deck or something. That was the deck I took to my locals. Well, the first deck I took to my locals was a pile of cards with like Vorse Raider, Cyber Dragon, Jinzo, like powerful monsters. But it was 2011, so that wasn't going very well. But I eventually built like a hero deck, which also didn't go very well. I played that for like a few weeks, and I decided that I actually wanted to try and build something better and like something good. So my next goal was to build Tengu Plant, which was the best
Okay.
deck around the time I started to actually like look into it more. But that came with some challenges because, as people might know, Tour Guide from the Underworld was a very expensive card back then. It was like £100 each
Wow.
for a secret rare, and like every single Tengu Plant deck in the world played 3 Tour Guide. So like I kind of cobbled together like a Tengu Plant deck without Tour Guide for a while until I eventually managed to get myself some Tour Guides, which was a struggle.
Wow. I can imagine it must have been a grind. How old were you back then? Would you been like what, 16?
In
15?
2011, 2012, so like 14 years ago, yeah, I'd be like 15, 14, 15.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. And what was it like? Were you hustling for it? Like, were you trading that kind of thing to get the tour guides?
No. So at the time, I was getting like an allowance from my parents, but I was like spending that on the other cards from the deck. But it was nearing, I think it was like Christmas time. I said like for Christmas this year, I asked my parents to buy me 3 tour guides and nothing else. It's
No.
still an expensive Christmas present, and they were like, "You want 3 pieces of cardboard for Christmas?" And I was like, "Yes, nothing else. Just get me 3 tour guides," and they bought me 3 tour guides.
Wow, man! Shout out to your parents. You are locked in,
Yeah.
though. You are locked in. And speaking about like the anime, you mentioned Yu-Gi-Oh! GX briefly. Which Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime is your favorite?
Um. Hmm. I think the issue is I haven't really watched any of them in full. If I'm being honest, like I watched I watched Jewel Monsters in full, but that's definitely not my favorite. I don't have the nostalgia for it. What I watched of GX is really cool, but like it never finished in dub, so I never
Yeah.
finished it, which is like weird. And then like 5Ds, I've seen a few seasons. I've not seen a lot of it. So if I think if I think the only thing I've watched in full was Zexal because it was fully
Okay.
dubbed. It's like it's the only anime they've like ever released that they actually finished the dub for. And like back then, I wasn't into like I don't want to watch this show and read subtitles to finish it and go on a shady website to find it. So I would only watch it in English. But I would say if I had to pick one that was my favorite of what I've actually seen, it would be GX because
GX.
it's
Okay.
one of the main reasons I started playing again.
Yeah, for sure. Like we have a similar like kind of background there. Like I was into heroes and Neospatians as well. Like I love Jaden. I wanted to be him, bro. So yeah, I totally get you. And then what would you say is like your favorite Yu-Gi-Oh character?
Hmm. I think it might be Jaden.
Jaden. Okay, okay, fair,
Yeah, I
fair.
do like Jaden. I like Jesse as well, Jesse Anderson.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Nice. Okay, and what was like your first kind of breakthrough moment in Yu-Gi-Oh? Like when you were playing and you kind of experienced this breakthrough where you're like, oh, maybe I could be kind of good at this.
I'd say it'd probably be my first regional top slash win, which were the same event.
Wait,
Like
wait,
at the time,
your first regional top was a win.
yeah.
Nice.
Like at the time, like I was playing kind of casually. Like I would play my Tengu Plant deck at local sometimes, but I was also still building like rogue decks and bad decks and tons like that. Like one of my favorite decks back then was Evols. Like after Tengu Plant, I played Evols for like Evil Tails for like a while. And at one point, I built Dino Rabbit, and I owned full Dino Rabbit, and I also owned Evols. But I entered the regional with Evols just because like I really liked Evols.
Wow.
Like I wasn't properly like interested in the competitive part that much at that time, even though I owned meta decks. But from that regional that I entered with Evols, from my prize packs, I pulled a Mermail Abyss Megalo, which at the time was an
Wow.
expensive card, and I decided I think I want to build Mermail because it was like gonna be a good deck. And then the next deck I built was Mermail, and it's to this day it's still my favorite deck of all time. I love Mermail. But yeah, my first regional top and my first regional win was with Mermail.
Was with Mermail. Okay, and that's from pulling the
I built the
Megalo.
Megalo, and then I decided to build a deck after that. Yeah,
Nice, nice. Okay, and at this point, had you already won a local prior?
yeah, I'd won locals before. Yeah,
What was
when I
like the what did you say? Sorry.
when I was playing Tengu Plant, I would win locals.
Okay, was Tengu Plant like the first deck that you won locals with?
Yeah, for sure, definitely. I wasn't winning it
Okay.
with my Neospatian deck.
Okay, okay. And would you say you were happier winning your first locals or like, winning your first regional? Which one made you like happier?
Regional for sure.
Regional, okay.
I never really valued locals, if I'm being that honest. Our scene wasn't that competitive. I would say there were maybe 2 or 3 like good players at my locals, but then the majority was quite casual people like me at the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So like winning locals wasn't that big a deal to me at the time.
Okay, fair, fair. And like I'm curious, how did your parents like react? Like, knowing that you asked them for a set of tour guides for Christmas, and they were like, what is this like these expensive cards? What's the point in this? And then seeing you like win a big event, like how did they react to that?
Yeah, they were happy. They thought it was cool, but honestly, a lot they don't really get it. Like
Ah,
the
okay,
game,
okay.
they don't know a whole lot about it. So like I'll explain it to them, and they're happy when I tell them I'm doing well. But that's it doesn't go much further than that.
Ah, okay, fair enough. I think that's most people's experience, to be fair. Okay, what would you say is like your proudest accomplishment, or what is the accomplishment you're most proudest of?
Hmm. Um, I'm not entirely sure. I'd say it's maybe one of the first times that like I actually like when I set off with me and one of my friends and we tried to actually like deck build for ourselves for an event. Like back like I used to always just net deck people. Like I would just like find a deck, copy, 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 copy. My first YCS top, I copied the deck list from Joshua Schmidt. Like I had access to a deck that people didn't know about, the 60 card paleo deck. I found the list, I used the list, I topped. So like that was kind of just like using someone else's list and doing well. But like the first time I properly sat down and built something, and then it ended up working out was like really like proud moment for me, which would be Danger FTK format actually.
Wow.
So
Okay, YCS London.
yeah, so there was obviously there was the American event the week before, which was kind of different because it had Summon Sorceress and the combos that were shown were like Armageddon Night combos. But then we had to adapt it for the European meta, and we had to figure out if it was actually like good without Summon Sorceress and stuff like that. So me and one
Mm.
of my friends from locals at the time decided to try and build it and make it work and see if it was like actually any good. And like we did a lot of testing. We like stuff that like obviously wasn't shown in America we also managed to figure out for that weekend, such as like Azathoth. Like Azathoth was a big thing in that deck, and it wasn't
Mm.
a known quantity before the event. But like me and my friend, we discovered it. We built it into the deck. We found a bunch of combos. And we thought the deck was really really cool, and then we also managed to get it validated because on the Friday of the YCS, Darren, I'm talking to like my testing partners at the time are like Darren Stevenson and Luke Parks and all that, and I've told him about the deck, and I've told a couple of my friends about the deck, and they're kind of sold on it. They've not tested it, so they don't know how good it is or not. Darren goes and visits Jesse Cotton at his hotel room, and he walks in, and it's like Jesse Cotton, Aaron Furman, a bunch of all of them. They're all playing Danger FTK.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
all playing As I Thought. They're all playing all the same stuff that we had also discovered. And like when he messaged me that, I felt so validated that like I'd actually done something and built a deck that other people had also come to the same conclusions. Other people way better than me. I felt a lot of really good about.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. It is such an amazing feeling to like, innovate, discover things for yourself. It's one of the things I love about the game, and yeah, now that's a really cool story. And I'm curious, who was the friend that you were testing with at the time?
This would be my friend Christoph from Glasgow.
Okay, no, I remember Christoph. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
they
cool,
don't
cool.
they don't play anymore.
Yeah, yeah, cool. All right. Um, so what would you say is like your favorite deck of all time?
Mermail, for sure.
Okay.
Every time Mermail's been like a viable deck, I tried to play it as much as I can. Like when I won my first regional with it, it was the mono Mermail deck that had like Abyss Teus and all that. I played it then. I played it in 2014 when it was Fire Water format. I played it when it came back again. I played it during Hat format. I played it like almost every format that I could.
Okay, have you tried it for this format?
No, I played it last year at one YCS or like last season at one YCS with like when it was before the Suda support, so it didn't have the big Poseidra, but I think it was the Ubel format, Lille or something. It was Snake Hat Ubel format. I hated both decks. I didn't like the format at all. I was like, I'm gonna play Mermail. I love this deck, so I played it for one YCS.
And
But
how'd it go? Like,
I think I was like this is like the first time this has ever happened to me at YCS. I was like X2 on about like round six or something. I wasn't doing particularly well, and then round seven got paired, and I didn't know the round got paired, and I showed up to the table 3 minutes late and got a game loss.
oh, damn,
And then I bricked game two, so I lost the match
damn,
in like 5 minutes. It's the first game loss I've ever had at YCS because I didn't know the round was up. I don't know what the setting was with the venue. I was sitting at the feature match area, and like obviously the feature match usually starts like 10 minutes after the round starts, so like players hadn't shown up there yet, so I couldn't tell the round had started. I guess there was an announcement, but I didn't hear it. Yeah, and I ended up showing up to the table late and got a game loss, so I got put out like round seven, unfortunately.
damn. That's rough. And the thing is, with like Mermail, like being X too early is not a bad thing because you're gonna play more rogue matchups. But yeah, that's unfortunate. Quick little thing here. We got 12 views on YouTube, 3 views on Twitch. Shout out to everyone who's joined. Please make sure to follow, like the video or like the stream to help promote it. But yeah, thanks for everyone for joining. Cool. So what keeps you playing Yu-Gi-Oh today? Like, what's your motivation? What keeps you playing the game?
I enjoy the game a lot. I've tried other hard games. I've tried other hobbies. None of them just really suit me as much as Yu-Gi-Oh does. I just enjoy it a lot. I enjoy the traveling. I make a lot of my majority of my friends I've made through Yu-Gi-Oh, so it gives me people to talk to and becomes friends with. But yeah, that's mainly it.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. You kind of touched on something I was going to ask you. So, how do you compare Yu-Gi-Oh to like other TCGs, like Pokemon, Magic the Gathering, One Piece, Lorcana, etc.? How do you compare them?
The majority of them are too slow for me. Like the thing that everyone complains about with Yu-Gi-Oh is it's so fast, it's so powerful, but like that's why I like it. Like when I play Pokemon, like Pokemon is actually kind of fast, but it's solitaire. It's like two players solitairing against each other. One player does their solitaire, and then like you pass turn, your opponent does their solitaire for 10 minutes. Like I don't like that. I like the interaction that Yu-Gi-Oh also has, and like card games like Magic, Magic's so slow. Like I could never get into the gameplay of Magic of draw, play a land, pass, draw, play a land. Like I never liked it, and I haven't really tried One Piece or any other card games. But all these like mana based card games are just not really something I've ever really felt interest in.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. Like I agree. I like the fast-paced nature of Yu-Gi-Oh. Um, and do you think Yu-Gi-Oh is an accessible game?
It's definitely way less accessible than the other card games because of its complexity, but I think its complexity is what makes it so special. Once you do get into it, you will understand it, but it is definitely a downside to it being so complex.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And if you could change one thing about Yu-Gi-Oh, what would you change and why?
Uh, Probably how they run the game.
Okay.
Like Konami makes a lot of questionable decisions, and I think most of the time it's not their fault. It goes through so many layers, and so many decisions have to be approved by so many different people, and like they've been making so many good choices lately. So maybe it doesn't need that, but like they've shown the capacity to run the game so much better than they have in the past year. They've made so many good decisions moving in the right direction. I think it's still a lot of decisions that just don't have to be the way they are. Like I still think that the pricing has been improved. I still don't
Hmm.
think it's good. It's still worse than every other card game on the market, which is unfortunate. And just a lot of the obviously product decisions as well. In the past 2 years, product has been completely worthless. The card game
Hmm.
to collect has been very bad. The market has been very bad. That sort of stuff has just been mismanaged really badly. That I wish it was treated better.
Okay. Yeah. No, that's I agree with you. The players have been crying. Rarity Collection 7, and everyone's bankrupt right now. All their collections are tanking. Um, and what do you think of the Yu-Gi-Oh community? Like, do you have any opinions or thoughts about the Yu-Gi-Oh community?
Nothing in particular, no. I don't think they're any more or less toxic than any other card game community I've seen. I think it's like the same everywhere that I've looked. I don't think there's anything wrong with the Yu-Gi-Oh community. I think it's a great community.
Okay, cool. And well, like, I agree with you. I think it's a pretty great community overall. Is there something particular you think that is good about the community?
Uh, I just can't think of anything off the top of my head, but in particular that I think is amazingly special about them or anything. But uh, no, nothing crazy.
Okay, and on the other end, like, is there something that like you don't like about the Yuga community, or like some aspect that you don't like?
I'd say there is some level of toxicity in the card game from a lot of different areas, from casual areas, from competitive areas, from the high end to the low end. But I think that exists in every community you're ever gonna exist in. So I don't think it's anything special or particular to Yu-Gi-Oh as a whole.
If there was something you could point out, like, what's something that stands out to you about the toxicity in Yu-Gi-Oh, or in some parts of the Yu-Gi-Oh community?
Mm, I'm blanking.
Don't worry, all good, all good. Now, do you have like Do you have like a Yu-Gi-Oh pet peeve, like something that your opponent does when you're playing against them that just annoys you?
Uh, One of my pet peeves is definitely like people who, if you go for their graveyard or to pick up their card or to read it, they're like, "No, bro, you need to ask me, bro." I'm like, "We're playing a card game." Like, there's so many people that are like, "You need to ask me if you want to see my graveyard. You need to ask me if you want to touch my card." I'm like, "We're playing a card game. Like, that's just not something that you have to do. If I have to ask you every time I want to read your card or pick up your graveyard, we're going to be here all day. If you're playing a card game, your opponent gets to read your cards. Your opponent gets to see your graveyard. You don't have to ask questions. Like, that sort of stuff is one of the things that really annoys me."
Yeah, no, I feel you on that. I think it's when they're being difficult. Like for me, at the start of every game, I just say, feel free to pick up my cards and do whatever, just to get it out of the way. But yeah, some people I think can be a bit finicky about that stuff, and it is annoying. Um, do you have any crazy Yu-Gi-Oh stories? Like, it can be like you playing in the game or playing in a tournament, or it can be around the event, like traveling, or peripheral to Yu-Gi-Oh.
I definitely have a lot from
Okay.
like the early days of traveling to YCSs. A lot of them are like story times on Farfa's YouTube channel, so a lot of people might have heard them before. So like some of the crazier ones, like the one where a bunch of my friends went to a YCS and they destroyed a hotel room and ended up with like €4,000 worth of fines they had to pay for the hotel room. And I had to loan them, some of them, a bunch of money. They had to win a giant card and sell it to get a bunch of the money. Yeah, a bunch of stuff like that. That's one of the
What?
years far for story times as well. Yeah, like this was
Damn.
like a YCS Milan like years ago, where a bunch of them got very drunk and literally destroyed an entire hotel room, and they
What?
couldn't afford to pay back all the fines unless Danny won a side event, won the giant card, sold the giant card, which he did.
Which giant card was it, and how much did he sell it for?
I think it was I think it was El Shaddai Construct giant card. I
Okay, that's
I cannot remember how much he sold it for. Probably nothing compared to what giant cards are at right now. But like back then,
yeah,
giant cards you would sell at events for like 300 or 400. Right
yeah,
now
yeah,
they're
yeah,
like 3 or 4 thousand.
yeah, for real, yeah. That literally like sounds like Yu-Gi-Oh! Hangover, the story, like.
Yeah. Another one of the stories, which is like it's actually in one of Nadir's vlogs on his YouTube channel, is at like YCS Bochum in 2017. We got thrown out of our hotel on this Sunday because a bunch of my friends chased Nadir up and down the hallway. Like it was like a hostel type thing. You had a room and you had showers
Right.
in the hall. He came out the shower with a towel around his waist, and a bunch of my friends took towels, wrapped them up, and started whipping him, like running and like chasing him up and down the hallway and whipping him while he's half naked with a towel around his waist. And we got a bunch of complaints from other people in the hotel, obviously, because we're making a lot of noise and causing a big commotion. That eventually the staff came up to deal with the complaint. But while they were dealing with it, they found out that we had a bunch of extra people in our hotel rooms that weren't supposed to be there. Like we had a room for four and six people were sleeping in it and sort of stuff like that. And they threw us out of the hotel on the Sunday. Um,
What?
so then our flight wasn't until like Monday morning at like Dusseldorf Wies Airport, which is the middle of nowhere. So then we got on a train to Dusseldorf Wies at late at night. We got to Dusseldorf Wies at like 9 o'clock at night or something. Once we got off the train, we realized all the buses had stopped. There were no more buses that night, and there were like 15 of us. And we had to get to the airport for like the next morning. We couldn't get a bus. We phoned all the taxi companies, and none of them would come and get us. So then we walked for 2.5 hours from the train station to the airport in the pitch black night, just through the darkness and forest, like to the airport. Like all 15 of us, it was an experience. That's also in one of the Deer's vlogs from back then.
Damn,
The,
jeez.
the
I need
two
to
and a
watch
half
this
hour
vlog.
walk. Yeah, they're old vlogs at this point, but that was a really fun experience. We got to the airport at like 1 or 2 a.m. or something, and we like slept on the floor until our flight at six a.m.
Damn, that you guys literally were living like the Yu-Gi-Oh hangover lifestyle, man. Shout out Glasgow
Yeah,
YGO, like Farfa.
yeah.
That's crazy. That's
when the
crazy.
Sc- when the Scottish YGO scene was a lot bigger, it was a lot of people. Like most of these events back then, for a lot of the people, was you go there and you get drunk. Like
Yeah, yeah,
it was a holiday with friends with a little bit of card games on the side, and so a bunch of stuff would happen at them.
yeah. Nah, I do remember the Scottish lads were like a rowdy bunch and very lively. It's always really fun to hang out with them. Um, so now What's the worst way someone has tried to cheat you, or you've seen someone try to cheat someone else in Yu-Gi-Oh? Do you have any story that comes to mind that you're willing to share with us?
I can't say I've particularly actually been like noticeably cheated against. Nothing I've actually noticed, other than obviously when the time rules were still the way they are, like slow play stuff. So
Yeah.
that's the worst that's actually ever happened to me personally.
Hmm.
Which is obviously, it still sucks when it happens, but I'm a bit lucky, I guess, that nothing outside of that has really happened to me personally.
Okay. Cool. And is it? Have you ever witnessed it? Like maybe the table next to you or something like that?
I don't think I've never really noticed it. No,
Okay.
nothing crazy like that.
Cool. Cool. And all right. So in the last three opens, like that you've played in, you've gone crazy. So there was the French Open, you went 10-0. We had
Yeah,
the UK Open where you went 9-0,
yeah,
and then the German Open where you went 7-2.
yeah.
And then between that, you played the Montauban Regional where you went 10-0 as well. Um,
Nine, 9-0, but yeah,
oh, sorry, it was 9-0. My bad, 9-0.
yeah.
Still 9-10. The record is insane, insane. Like across what, four tournaments, you only dropped two rounds, right?
Yeah.
It's such an insane feat. Like you literally like this is peak level Yu-Gi-Oh performance, right? Um, like what do you think contributed to you like performing so well and to just going on such an insane run?
Honestly, I think it's been a lot of luck. Like the French, I'd say the French Open was the star of it, obviously. Although, like I think a couple weekends before the French Open, I won a regional somewhere in England. I think I went 7-0 at a regional. Like after YCS Lille, I just felt a lot like I had played a lot of Dracotail, and I felt really confident in my Dracotail play. I went to a regional in England or something, Stockton. I went 7-0. I won the regional, and then the French Open was a couple weeks later. I went to the French Open, and like the first 7 rounds, I think there was nothing special. The last 2 rounds, I got in feature match, and I think both my opponents didn't play the best, maybe feature match nerves, maybe stuff like that, and I just kind of managed to lock out. Like I was like the round 8, round 9 was like debatable. I probably still was winning that one, but round 10 in the finals, game 3, my opponent just made had the game in their pocket and just like threw it away, and I just got really lucky to win that one. Honestly, I should have lost that one 100%, but managed to sneak out the win at the end from like a mistake from my opponent. So I think I got lucky winning that one. I probably should have been 9-1. Then the UK Open, honestly, it kind of happened again. I made it to the finals again the last round, and my opponent just kind of didn't do their combos the greatest in the last round. Like won the Biru, managed to beat Phil Mitsuyomo combo 2 games in a row, which it never should, but it managed to do it. I just feature match nerves again. I've myself, I've had quite a lot of feature matches over the year. I don't feel any different, any nerve when I'm on feature match. I think that's like a benefit to me. If I ever get a feature match, I'm happy because I feel like I'm going to be fine. My opponent probably won't be if they've never had one before. A lot of people feel a lot of nerves in that situation, but I personally don't. So I just like the UK Open kind of went that way. And then Montebar, yeah, I didn't expect to do that well at that one as well. Like I just felt like it was towards the end of the format. There was more Vanquish Soul. I did not have a good performance at YCS Bologna. I lost the first round at YCS Bologna. I won round 2. I lost round 3. I went 1-2 at YCS Bologna. I played the rest out and lost the final round of day 1. I lost round 9, so I didn't make day 2. But I just like wasn't feeling the best after that event. But still, like I don't know, went to the regional and still performed.
Yeah, no,
And
it's
then
it's insane. Yeah,
yeah, German Open just an X2 was fine. It's good points.
yeah,
Nothing
yeah, for
special.
sure. Yeah, yeah. Like for me, I get nervous in feature matches. Like I get because I'm just thinking about like, oh, if I make a single mistake, everyone is just gonna be on my ass. Like, that's like my thing. I'm like, please don't like. I don't mind making a misplay, but I don't want to make a glaring error or like do an accidental illegal play or something like that. I'm just always just so nervous. But like, how do you manage just to stay calm and like, is it just that you've played so many?
I think it might be played so many. Maybe it's a consequence of back in the day being on camera so much on the Deers channel. I'm just kind of used to being on camera a bit more. I'm a bit more used to having comments made about me. that I just kind of learn to ignore it. If I ever make a mistake, like other people, everyone misplays. If I make a mistake and it's on camera, oh well, I'm human. I misplayed. People misplay all the time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm moving towards that. Like now, I'm making a lot more content and stuff like that. So I'm kind of getting towards your stage. So hopefully, we'll be all right in the future matches. And like, do you ever like how do you stay mentally locked in? Because playing 10 rounds in one day is a lot, right? So like, how do you just stay mentally locked in for that? For like 10, 11 hours.
I definitely struggle with that. Like most tournaments, when it gets round five, I'm just like, especially tournaments like YCS's where there's such long gaps in between rounds. Like trying to keep myself focused and awake is so hard. I just try to take it one round at a time and not think about like anything else. Just like like between rounds, I'll goof off. I'll like I'll nap on the table sometimes. I'll kind of be aloof, but then like once the round starts, I just try and lock in and completely focus on it and don't think about anything else at all.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that's cool. And do you ever experience tilt? And like how do you deal with it?
Definitely experienced tilt. Most of the time, my tilt comes from my own misplays. If I ever notice that I've made a misplay and then it ends up costing me the game, like I know that I in the past I'll definitely be tilted from that, and I try to like when I'm siding for the next game, just completely like just try and put it off, and maybe like I'll get through those next two games without thinking about it. But like in bed at night, I will think about that game in my head on repeat, thinking about that misplay and what I should have done and why did I do that. That was really stupid. Like I try and delay the tilt until later and think about it after, but like because thinking about it in the moment is useless, and like
Yeah.
I'm not disciplined enough to like not think about it at all. But the second the tournament's over and I'm like away from it, I will think about that misplay all day and it will annoy the hell out of me. But like I try and just delay the tilt until later.
Yeah, yeah. That's I've not heard anyone say that, like delay the tilt. You have like delayed gratification and then you got delayed tilt. Just don't think about it later. For like, and I can totally relate. After a tournament, especially if it's a future match, because then you can actually watch it back and it just lingers, and you're in the shower, you're eating food the next day, and you're just thinking about why did I do that? But yeah, I can relate.
Yeah,
Um,
if I ever misplay in a feature match, I'm not watching that back. That will just that will tilt me more. Like I don't want to know. Like if I know in my head I misplayed, I don't have to go and watch myself misplay again. I'll just like okay, I misplayed. Yeah, let's not think about that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. And like, I'm curious, when have you ever played against someone and that person has done something that's put you on tilt?
There's definitely some occasions. Yeah, I've had a lot of people that like. I think the ones that put me on tilt the most are like people who rush you a lot. Like not even for like slow play things. They're just like, yep, yeah, yeah, hurry up, like do that, do it. Like people that rush you like constantly are like the people that tell me the most. People that talk way too much during the game. But I think that's like a common tactic from people who try and tilt their opponents. They try and like table talk them and keep talking to your opponent. Like I just want to focus. I'd say that's like the most common situations for me. But other than that, nothing.
Okay, not fair. Yeah, like I can imagine. I can imagine you've played all sorts of people, throughout your years of playing. So I'm sure you probably have some interesting experiences. And quick shout out to the viewers. We've got 20 viewers on YouTube, 3 viewers on Twitch. Everyone, please, like up the stream to help share it, all that good stuff. And yeah, so now, we talked a lot about Yu-Gi-Oh. Jordan, tell us about yourself. Like, what's life like outside of the game for you? Like, what kind of like hobbies do you have? What are you into, man?
Right now, my main hobby is Yu-Gi-Oh. During the Worlds Race, I've kind of like focused myself on like I used to have like a bunch of other like I'd play World of Warcraft quite a lot before. But since I started like the Worlds Race this year, I just kind of tried to focus myself on only thinking about Yu-Gi-Oh. Like in the
Mm.
past, I've like had other hobbies that I would let eat into Yu-Gi-Oh. But this year, I'm trying to focus everything on just purely Yu-Gi-Oh and try and do the best I can right now.
Yeah, and I mean it's been working. Like right now you're on fire, you're killing it, and hopefully you continue on this streak. Um, do you feel like competitive Yu-Gi-Oh takes a toll on your life? Like, do you feel like you have to kind of make a lot of sacrifices, outside of Yu-Gi-Oh, or do you, like how do you find doing the world's race?
Usually Yu-Gi-Oh doesn't involve a lot of sacrifices for me. I'm not one like a lot of people who do very well at this game are like play all the time. I don't dedicate a lot of time to playtesting. It's not as much as I definitely should, but I like there are I generally don't play a lot of the game. I think about it constantly. Like most, I'd say the majority of hours of my day, I am thinking about the game. But I don't play as much as I should, so it definitely doesn't eat into my life as much as that. I play the game once a week at locals for 4 rounds, and then I consume a lot of content. I try and learn through watching. So like I watch every DB grinder video, like but I'm sure a lot of people do. I consume a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh content, just gameplay wise and like theory wise. But it's like actually playing the game, it doesn't eat into my life a whole lot. Um, the traveling doesn't really eat into me. I like to travel a lot. It doesn't really particularly require any sacrifice from me. It just other than money. But the world race for me this year it's definitely require like it definitely is a struggle from someone living in Scotland.
Yeah.
Traveling to these regionals, like Scottish regionals are not big. The biggest Scottish regional we had this season was 66 players, I think, which would be like 9 points, I think, if you won the regional. Whereas if I'm going to Germany, I'm getting when I won Montebar, I got 40 points. When I got 15th at the German Open, I got 41 points. When I won the French Open, I got 128 points. I would have to win like 20 tournaments in Scotland to get anywhere close to that. So for me to like do the world race, it involves a lot of travel, and for Scotland, travel is not cheap. Like to fly to like France, it's like 200-300 pounds for the flight, and then the hotel's like another £100, and then I'm paying for my food while I'm there. I'm spending 400 to 500 pounds to go to these regionals. The same for Germany. Like the flight was like 200-300 pounds. The hotel was another £100, and then trains well, like Ubers and stuff while we're there, food while we're there. I'm spending like 500-600 pounds for a weekend away. So my race is kind of focused on just going for high value regionals that I like feel might like the point conversion to money conversion might be worth it. But whereas like if even the UK regionals, if I want to go to like all the biggest UK regionals are in the south of England. For me to get there, it's trains in the UK are not cheap. It's over like £100 on a train, and then I'd still have to get a hotel because I'm in Scotland. I can't go home the same day because like it just does like the train would be too long. It just can't happen. So I'm spending if I want to go like a UK regional in the south of England, it's over £200, which for a UK regional that would maybe be like 10 points if you win. Maybe if it's a bigger UK regional, 15 points. That's just not worth it monetarily wise for me. So like then I can go to north of England regionals because I can drive there on the same day and then drive back. So I get if I win one of those, I get maybe 8 or 9 points. So it is a bit of a struggle being from Scotland because like money does play a factor in the race if you want to travel. It just has to be what you're willing to pay for the points. A bit of pay to win, kind of. But I mean, obviously, you still have to perform when you go to these tournaments. Like I did, though. I quote unquote did the world race once before, where I didn't. I tried to like very casually do it. I did well at YCS, so I had a good chunk of points. I went to the German Open, and I did well at the German Open, and I got like 50 points. And then like the next weekend there was another regional in Germany. I went to that one and I got 0 points, and I spent like £250 that weekend to get 0 points. And at that point, I was like, I'm not going to do this, and I stopped doing the world race that year. I was like, if I want to like compete, I have to go to more German regionals. I'd have to spend £200-300. If I don't do well, I will feel awful, and I will burn the money. So I gave up on the world race that year. The only reason I'm in the world race this year is I decided to take a chance. I went to the French Open and I won it. And like the points from winning the French Open and the top 16 at YCS Lille just gave me a good point advantage, so I decided to actually go for it.
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure. And I think it does suck that it's so expensive for you. Like I live in Milton Keynes, so it's quick shout out to Voyen for following. Appreciate you. Yeah, I live in Milton Keynes, so I'm like half an hour from London. So I can fly from all the London airports, and it's like a fraction of the cost. Like we were for the French Open, we took a bus from Paris to London, and it was like £20. and it's just like an
Right.
overnight bus for like 8 9 hours. We just slept on the bus, flying into like most of our flights to France. I don't think I've paid like maybe it's like 50 60 pounds per flight, and same with Germany. Like the flights were like maybe return flight 60 70 quid, so it's like a fraction of the cost that it is for you. But you know what, props to you for holding it down and making sure to get your money's worth, mate. You've been getting those oversized cards, getting getting those boxes. So I just hope you run it up there and make it to that top 16 playoff in the summer.
Could be. I'm feeling confident that I'll be there at this point.
For sure, for sure. Okay, and now going into current kind of Yu-Gi-Oh topics, how do you feel about the ban list?
I was pretty happy with it. I wish they would hit more floodgates. Like they
Me
got the
too.
barrier statue and the feather storm, but like I wanted dimensional fissure still going to exist for this format, and I wish it wouldn't. And like different dimension ground, dimensional fissure. Maybe there's a little bit of Draco Tail bias coming through here, but like those are like two of the biggest floodgates that I feel like are going to ruin this next format, and I just wish they weren't there. But other than that, I kind of like the hits. I think Yummy got hit too hard. Like there's a lot of like obviously Triff's still like coping, the deck's still the best deck, but like I still think Yummy got hit too hard. Like I think one Snatchy is so criminal. Like Herald, sure that can go, but one Snatchy, that's so crazy.
Yeah,
I think if they could have let Yummy off a bit better.
yeah. No,
But other than
I
that, I like
agree.
the ban list.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yummy, poor Yummy man, poor Cupsy
Yeah.
Wupsy, poor Marshmallow. They got abused. They got abused. Hopefully, Snatchy comes back. Um, and I totally agree with the floodgates. Yeah, like a dimension shifter as well. What are the other cards? I hate the one-offs like anti-spell. There can only be one. Call by the grave. Cross out designator.
Uh,
Like I made a whole video ranting about it, but I'm sure
I
you
want
agree
call.
with a lot of those.
Yeah, I want call by gone so badly.
Yeah, I'm sure you do. Your Feminas have been called by too many times.
Yeah.
Okay, and like, is there a card you? Well, you kind of answered this, but if you had to just pick one specific card, is there one card you feel should have got banned that didn't get banned in the most recent ban list?
Dimensional Fissure.
D Fissure.
It's definitely that one.
Yeah,
Maybe,
and yeah,
maybe there's Draco Tail and Mermail bias there at the same time, but like I've always liked my graveyard decks, and that card's just I don't know. Konami like I think Konami loves that card. I can't tell why, because it's also a problem in Genesis format. Like in Genesis format, it's like the best floodgate in the game, and it has 0 points. I think Konami like genuinely think that that's a fair and balanced card, and I don't know why.
yeah. Maybe if enough of us like complain about it, I think they'll begin to recognize it. But as a graveyard enjoyer myself, I would be happy to see D Fissure go. Um, Now, what's one card you feel should come off the ban list?
Uh, but like, I can't even remember what's banned right now. Like there's probably tons of cards that are like currently banned that could come off and like wouldn't matter. I think I think Striker Dragon probably shouldn't be at one. I'm also a fan of Dragon Link, and I think Striker Dragon could probably be at more than one. Or Chaos Space could probably be at three, if I'm being honest. I think Chaos Space could be at three easily, or Striker Dragon could be at three. I'm personally not a fan of like Savage Dragon coming back, which is one of the other suggestions people make for like Dragon Link. I think that card can stay banned, but I think Striker Dragon or Chaos Space could definitely come back.
Yeah, no, I agree with all those. Big fan of dragons as well, and wouldn't mind them coming back. Um, Quick shout out to Ballo Telino for following. Appreciate you. Thank you. And also, we have 28 viewers on YouTube, 4 viewers on Twitch. Thanks everyone for joining. Please make sure to like, share the stream, follow me, all the good stuff. There's gonna be a weekly series. We had some hiccups with previous guests, like my the video I did with Josh. Unfortunately, the audio was messed up on my end, so we're gonna run that back after Dortmund. And I wasn't able to schedule an interview with one of my other guests, so we're getting there. We're getting there. We're figuring it out. And yeah, so now Burst Protocol. Like, how do you feel about Burst Protocol as a set? Do you think people should buy this set?
I think it's one of the it's the best core set they've released in a year, but that's not particularly hard because all the core sets they released last year were terrible. But I do think this set actually is good. I think this is one of the first core sets they've made like in over a year and a half, which is good. But it's good for the reason that a lot of people will hate, and then that they've made all the good cards high rarity. But that is how Yu-Gi-Oh has to make. The only way a core set can be good in the way they're currently designed is if you make the right cards high rarity. Because you could have this exact same set and have all the rarity distribution different, and this set could be terrible. Like, but like the way they've managed to put like the good cards in secret or ultra is what makes this set actually good. So I think it is a set worth buying.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like one thing that comes to mind was in Doom of Dimensions, like Radiant Typhoon Vision. The draw two was just a common,
Yeah.
and that's a card that definitely should be blinged out for sure, for sure.
I think like it feels like sometimes Konami just decides to make sets bad. It shouldn't be because there's obviously like so many sets in the past year where you look at this completely broken card. You're like, if this card was secret rare, it would be £60, and then they print it common or super rare, and you're like, that's a wasted opportunity to make your set have some value. Obviously, a lot of players like who are more budgetary concerned are like don't want the good cards to be higher rarity, but it's the only way to give the current design of core sets any value for like local stores to actually feel like it's worth buying product. And if your locals aren't buying product, like locals will die out. So it just has to happen until we get like a redesign of core sets, which I think the game definitely needs, to be honest. Core sets are not doing it right now.
Yeah, no, definitely, definitely. I couldn't agree more. And we had a question actually earlier when we were talking about when you mentioned DB Grinder. So Dark YGO asks, what other sources of content besides DB Grinder that you watch for Yu-Gi-Oh?
Well, Demon Grinder is definitely the biggest one for competitive content. I also watch Vex and YGO, which is Lundriti. He posts a bunch of good content recently.
Yeah.
Julian Cahan, Lucas Sacco, Joshua Schmidt. Uh, who else? Jesse. If Jesse ever makes like content that isn't, most of his content is casual, but some occasionally he'll make like competitive content. I'll watch that. And then Jibriel doesn't really post videos, but he does a lot of Twitch content. A lot of big, like recently he's done 2 really big tournaments. I've watched all those games, mainly those.
Yeah, I know all of them, all great content creators. And Vexen is one I've been watching a lot lately. He's been making really good videos, a lot of really good insight. I even bought the spreadsheet that Jib and Lund made together, and that's been. I haven't even gone through all of it, but it's helped me just to get some of the fundamentals for the new format. And yeah, so what do you think will be the best deck in this new format with the new ban list post Burst Protocol?
Draco Tail. But
And
I'm biased because I've always thought Draco Tail's the best deck. But I think the common opinion is right now that the best deck post Protocol will be Draco Tail. So
and
um,
go ahead, sorry.
it might end up underperforming. Simply, I will say, because it is definitely the most prepared for deck. Everyone's going to think it's on their radar, so everyone's going to know how to play against it. Everyone's going to have preparation for it. Everyone's going to be aware of the play patterns and know how to play against it. But I still think, like from a power level, I think it is the best deck.
And is there like a particular variant? Because there's a few variants right now. We've got the branded variant and the Magistus variant. Is there a particular variant you think will be the number one deck?
I think the most played variant will definitely be the branded variant. Uh, haven't put in enough testing yet to completely rule out the Magistus variant. I think it definitely has some value, so I'm not going to rule it out yet. But I do think the branded variant will be the like more played version.
Okay, cool. And yeah, I think so too. I think and with Draco Tail, like it's a deck that you played a lot. What do you think? Why is it the best deck? What makes it the best deck? Why is it so good? Like if you could just point out some of the things that make Draco Tail good.
It is so strong going second. I think it is the best engine going second in the game for like the past year. Like I like when we had 3 Ketu, 3 Rahu, those are like six of the most powerful like board breaker cards you could ever imagine, but they're engine, and they're also 5 mana. Like you also have a crazy, so you have a crazy hand trap for going second, and you have six broken spell cards. Add brand efficient to the mix, you had 8 broken spell cards, and not a whole lot of like the game that interacted with spell cards. Like outside of the Herald of Arclight Floodgate, if Yummy ever had a board like last like format and there was not a Herald on it, like one spell card resolving was GG. Like you ever put them under a full loss and they end on like the statue half board, one spell card's game over, one 5 mana game over. So I think the engine itself is really strong going second, has really strong synergies with Charmies, and it also has strong itself against Charmies. So you have a strong going second, but whenever you go first and you get charmied by your opponent, you end on your almost full board for one draw, or if you want to push and get full board, it's 2 draws. So they go +1 or they go like 1 for 1. Plus, whenever you go first and draw Ash Blossom, you get to negate Charmy for free and re-add the Ash to your hand, which is like one of the most disgusting interactions in Dracotail, because it just feels like your opponent's down a card, you negated it for free, and you get the Ash back to your hand to negate another card. Like anytime you actually resolve that, your opponent just never wins going second.
Yeah. It's like it's literally there's this feeling of dread where you ash a Dracotel player, and no, sorry, when your like Fua gets ashed or your Brulia gets ashed, and then they go Arthelion pick up Ash again, and you're like, oh no, it's so
Yeah.
powerful, it's so powerful. Quick shout out to the viewers. 29 viewers on YouTube, 3 viewers on Twitch. This is one of my best streams so far. So thank you for Jordan for coming on. I'm sure a lot of people are here for you. And yeah, please guys, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe, follow, all the good stuff. And yeah, feel free to drop your questions in the chat as well. Like when I see them, I will ask when we get time. So Wales 312 asked, how is it trying to find a testing group in a more rural area? Like, you know, you live in Scotland where there isn't a huge player base. So what's your experience like?
So for like the past 2 years, I haven't had a testing group. I used to have a really consistent one when a bunch of my friends played the game. Like I had me, Darren Stevenson, Vlad, Baronovskis, Luke Parks, Raphael Nevin. Like we all used to theory together, and Bradley Haywood. We all used to theory together and like build decks for events. And like we would all, most of the time we would all enter with the same deck that we built together. And I felt really good about that back then. Most of them don't play the game anymore. But out of that, it's just me, Bradley Haywood, and Vlad who still play the game. Like, and like we just don't really have the same mind. Like when I was test theorying with like Luke and Darren, we would always have the same mindset of we will play the same deck and we will build it together and we will play it. But like Vlad always does his own thing. He always picks a deck that he likes and he plays it and he builds it. So theorying that is always hard. Brad also kind of has to pick a deck early and has to commit to it to feel comfortable playing it at an event, which is not something like I'll constrain myself to. I will play whatever I have to for an event. So if I ever have to change deck last minute, like that's something I need. So I haven't really had a testing group since 2 of them quit. Briefly, for one event I tested with Joshua Schmidt and Quantol and Korean. That was like YCS Bologna, like last year. The one Josh won with the runic deck, but like
Yeah.
that was like a format where none of us could decide on the deck either. We did the testing for one event, and like all 4 of us picked a different deck, and then Josh won the event. And then like for like a year, I didn't have a testing group at all. I would just like occasionally at events, I would like talk to people I know. Like I would talk to Josh, and Josh would happily share theory with me at some points. Before he was on Raid and Trade, now that he's on Raid and Trade, he can't really share what their team works on. I talked to Jesse Cotton quite a lot. He's happy to share theory with me. We have a good, like, I'm friends with Jesse through Darren. And like for YCS Lille last year, again, I didn't have anyone to test with or theory with at all. I messaged Pac like the week of the event, and I was like, I gave him some of my theory, he gave me some of his theory, he shared his deck list with me, I made some changes, and I played like very close to like something that me and Pat kind of theoried up, and he helped me for that. This event I'm trying with a new testing group, so we'll see how that goes. But this is like YCS Dortmund's like one of the first times I've actually been in a testing group for like in the last 2 years.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, it's interesting to hear that. I mean, like back in the day, you had us. I think it's cool to hear that throughout your time you've been able to test with some of the best players, and And I think also in your performance, it kind of shows that you've become one of the best yourself at this stage. Like back when you were testing with like Darren, Raf, these guys, they're the ones that like went to Worlds and made finals of YCSs, and now you're the guy who's on top, making your way. And quick shout out to Joe for subscribing on YouTube. Also shout out to Michael Coe for subscribing on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. And Jose Ramirez asks, what are your thoughts on the new fallen and white ratios? Do you still find yourself trying to play 2 white and 1 OG? So yeah, what are your thoughts? I don't know if you had much time to test with the new cards.
If at all possible, I will do everything in my power to play 3 Fallen of White. If I have to play OG Abaz, I will. But if it's at all possible for me to think that my deck is good enough without OG Abaz, I will do it. Because like cutting yourself off of one copy of like one of the best cards in the deck is so tough. If I can play 3 Fallen of White, I will try to. But there are very good arguments to why Fallen of Albaz can make a spot in the deck. It makes your deck a lot better into Fua. It raises your end board whenever you don't draw Draco Tail. So there are really good reasons to play Albaz, and like I've a lot of the builds I've been trying do still play it, but I really don't want to because cutting a brick and replacing it with one of the best high quality engine pieces in the deck is very valuable. So if you can do that, I would like to, but I'm still not completely set on an answer on that, to be honest.
Okay, yeah, I'm in the same boat as you. I'm leaning towards playing Albaz just because I love fusing with my opponent's monsters, but but yeah, I get you. Having 3 white would be crazy. Now, I probably will guess your answer. Or, I mean, it probably be obvious what your answer will be. But what deck do you think will win YCS Dortmund 2026?
Draco Tail.
Okay, yeah, I thought so. I just need to ask you to get the clip.
It's hard because like this is also Europe, so like there's a chance that like some deck that is like tier 4 will win. There's like Europe tends to like be very different from America when it comes to approaching events. America, a lot of the like people will massively go in with what is considered the widest best deck, whereas a lot of European players, they go into a YCS with like, I'm gonna build to beat the best deck. I'm not gonna play the best deck. Like this, like the top deck representation at a European YCS tends to be lower than an American one. Like I would be surprised that like if the American YCS, like Draco Tail, maybe it'll be like 30% entry, and then like in Europe it'll be like 18 or something. Like Europeans tend to try and beat the best deck a lot more than like Americans do, so it's possible that another deck that other people try to find a good Draco Tail matchup will sneak it out, but I think Draco Tail has the highest chance of winning.
Yeah, for sure. And you actually touched on a question I was going to ask you next, which is like, how do you think the meta will be different in Europe and America? So you mentioned, like in Europe, we tend to try to beat the best deck more than play the best deck. So America tend to, play the number 1 deck more. Are there any other differences you think will be in the meta between, in Europe and America?
I think America also tends to lean into combo a lot more than Europe does. Like Yumi Mitsurugi was a big example of that. It's like usually Yumi Mitsurugi was kind of smaller in Europe than it was in America. And Raizio Mitsurugi was the same thing. Raizio Mitsurugi in America, last format, they would always play like every brick card you could play in the deck. They would play Night Sword Serpent, they would play Kusanagi, they would play Cross, they would play Star, they would play 7th Tachyon, they would play Mirror, they would play every brick card you could put in the deck that makes the end board better, they'll do it. America is like very combo pilled, I feel like, whereas Europe trends to be a little bit less combo pilled. Like the Raizio Mitsurugi decks in Europe generally didn't play Star or Cross. They would try and cut down on the bricks, and they would play it more like a Mitsu deck with less bricks, less power, but like more consistency, less variance. Whereas Americans are always like, I'm going to play Kusanagi, I'm going to play Aramasa, I'm going to play the Trap Guard, I'm going to play every brick I can, I'm going to play Night Sword Serpent, because I want my combo deck to work. So I feel like America might be a bit more combo-y. They might take that approach with their Draco Tail decks. I could see Spenta being more popular in America because it's like peak combo slop. It's like I can play like the most powerful combo version of Draco Tail I can. And I think America tends to lean into that more than Europe will.
Yeah, for sure. And I think I've noticed similar trends, and it'll be interesting to see how things play out. We have 3 YCSs on the same weekend. We got Dortmund, we got Richmond, and Guadalajara. So yeah, it's going to be really cool to see how it plays out. Like the anniversary YCSs are always such awesome events. Okay, so 30 viewers on YouTube, still 3 viewers on Twitch. Appreciate everyone for showing up, and also thanks for all you guys for adding questions. I'm going to be asking some of them now. So someone says British Nexus. So adding to Jose's question, thoughts on Nadir Servant and Branded in High Spirits on Draco Tell, if it's worth asking. Like these cards in the
Uh,
deck.
the DR7 I don't think is worth it. Like extra deck lock is just this too steep of a thing to ever require, to be honest. And branded high spirits I think is also just more suited for a branded deck. I don't think you have very good like search targets. Like you can search Fallen of White, but like Fallen of White is not full combo unless you're playing Magistus. But like Magistus has so many other ways to full combo that I don't think you would ever need anything like that in Dracotail.
Okay. No, I think I kind of agree with your reasoning there. And which board? So Joe asks, which board breakers do you think will be the best in this new format?
I think the best board breaker is definitely Droplet. It has like because it's just so multi like faceted. It boots monsters, but also dodges flame. It's kind of like the perfect combination of what you want against a Dracotail deck. So if you're playing like a board breaker deck, I assume Droplet will be in your deck. I think I think Crown is very powerful. I think it's a lot stronger going first than it is going second. I think going first the card's very very strong. Going second, I think it is okay. I think it's still good. But I do, and then I think one of the best board breakers right now is Fallen and Virtuous. It's not even that like powerful of a board breaker. It's one pop, but it is like recursion. There's a lot of grind games this format, so like being able to like use it as a board breaker, get another one, or if you're playing Dracotail, also accesses your engine. Like there's like so many brick games where you have a Fallen of Virtuous. You'll have Fallen of Virtuous. You'll have some hand traps. You'll like pass. You use Fallen of Virtuous to stop them. You use your other hand traps to stop them, and then the Fallen of Virtuous gets you to your engine via branded. Like I think that's just a really strong thing for a board breaker to do that no other board breaker in the game will do for you.
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. It's such a good card, so versatile. Even the reborn effect is
Yeah.
crazy. It does so much. Um, and yeah, you actually touched on something I was going to ask you about as well. So Forbidden Crown, there's a lot of hype, a lot of speculation, doubts on this card. I'm in the middle. Like I feel like it's really good, but it also has some drawbacks as well. What are your thoughts on Forbidden Crown? Do you think it's gonna be a really good tech card in this new format, like Droplets was when it came out, or do you think this card is gonna flop?
I think outside of Radiant Typhoon, I don't see it seeing a lot of play. I think almost every Radiant Typhoon will play it. The deck just needs high quality quick play spells, and there aren't enough of them, if I'm being honest. Droplet's obviously strong, but you need more board breakers that are quick play spells, and I think Crown is like the second best one. So I think it will see play in Radiant Typhoon. I think this format it might not see play in other decks, but in future formats, that card is definitely going to see play. That card definitely has insane potential to be a staple for years to come.
Okay. So you heard that. Everyone buy your Forbidden Crowns. Um, cool. And so now, what do you think is a sleeper deck for this new format? Like a deck that people aren't considering that could really, have an impact or do really well in the meta?
I don't know if it's a deck that people aren't considering, but I'd say like something like Sky Striker, or I'd say Lunalite's more considered, so probably not Lunalite, but maybe Sky Striker is like one of the off picks that like maybe has the potential to be like a good pick for next format. But like Crown is also probably a really good card in that deck as well. It's another spell non-engine which can be really powerful. I think Striker maybe has potential, but the other ones are just kind of obvious, like Lunalite, Vanquish Soul, like Crystron, like that sort of stuff that everyone else is thinking about. But probably Striker is one of the ones that a lot of people probably aren't thinking about.
Okay, Sky Strike is a very, very interesting take. Yeah, it has all its cards back, but I feel like it just doesn't do enough. But maybe someone might find the right formula, especially with crowns to help the grind game. Okay, someone's in the chat is asking, speaking of Radiant Typhoon, I wanted to ask both your opinions on Sheena, the new wind hand trap. So yeah, you go ahead, Jordan. What are your thoughts on Sheena, the new hand trap?
I think the card is very good. I think it makes playing against Radiant Typhoon very interesting. You have to always have it in the back of your mind of every play you make. If I do this and then they use Sheena and I lose all my monsters, how does that impact me? If I flip this spell trap and they change Sheena and try and bounce all my back row, how does that affect me? It definitely is very strong in that deck, and it definitely involves a lot of gameplay decisions to be made around it.
Yeah, definitely. Well said. I agree. It's such a powerful card. Like being able to bounce all spell traps or all monsters, is crazy. Yeah, and it's gonna add a very interesting dynamic to the game. And I'm kind of excited to see how it will play out. I think it's gonna make for some interesting games for sure. And speaking of Radiant Typhoon, what do you think of Radiant Typhoon as a deck? Do you think it is a tier 1 deck?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's probably like second or third best deck. I'd say it's like Dracotail first, then second is either Radiant Typhoon or Vanquish Soul, and I think those two are kind of fighting for second or third. But I think it's definitely good.
Okay. Shout out to Maro Miss for following on Twitch. Appreciate you. And Joe asks, what do you think of Gem Knight? They think it can sneak in some games. Do you have any thoughts on Gem Knights?
I think it's cool going second deck. I haven't played it a lot personally. I've played against it in Master Duel is like the most I've ever experienced the deck. I've never actually experienced it in TCG, so I'm not entirely well versed on it, to be honest.
Okay, fair. Yeah, like Gem Knight is a deck. I think was it Isaiah that came third at NAWCQ with it? It was Isaiah, right? Or
Yeah,
Isaiah?
he went to Worlds, I think. Yeah,
Yeah. He went to
Gem.
Worlds with Gem Knights. So it's one of those decks. It can go crazy, and it just depends on whose hands it's in, and yeah. So and shout out to Maro for also subscribing on YouTube. Cool. So yeah, that is actually all of my questions. Jordan, really appreciate you taking the time. It's been really good to talk. Chat, while we have Jordan here, any questions, feel free to run them in. Um, and yeah, Jordan, like I know that you sell online. What's your store? Do you have a store you want me to link for you in the description? You want to give
I mean,
yourself a shout out?
you can link my card market, but it's nothing special. I'm Jordan G 9780 on card market, but like it's nothing special.
Yeah, no worries. I'll have that linked in the description. Guys, make sure to buy your cards from Jordan, help fund the world's race. And we'll
That'd be
definitely have him
great.
back on future streams. And yeah, also, you're on a team. You're on Team Jobber, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, big shout out to Jobber. And Britis Nexus asks, I have to ask, a lot of mixed opinions on Malice at the moment. Any thoughts? So, White Binder is banned. Do you still think Malice is a competitive deck?
Without Whitebinder, I don't think so. I think like the deck's main strength is still that it can definitely play all the best non-engine in the game, which is like that was its same strength last format. But I think without Whitebinder, I don't think the deck's good enough, to be honest. And I also think the deck was bricky before, and I don't think losing Whitebinder will help you very much with that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it was very popular in Europe, like way more popular in Europe than
Yeah,
America, because
that's
every
that's
regional.
another. Yeah, that's another symptom of the Europeans play what beats the best deck. Malice has a good Dracotail matchup, and like Dracotail was like perceived as one of the best decks because it can play Ash, you can play Fua, you can play Bell, you can play Impulse, like, and those are all like the best cards against Dracotail. Like Impulse specifically, being able to play that is really good, and like Malice in general, I feel like just had a good Dracotail matchup, and I think that's one of the reasons why it was so popular in Europe.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it was always a pain to play against. So I'm glad we're not playing against them anymore. Hopefully, at least they've been hit significantly. And shout, we've got 34 viewers on YouTube and 5 viewers on Twitch. Appreciate everyone. Like up the stream. Make sure to follow all the good stuff. And Han asks, what do you think about Memento? I think is a good sleeper pick. Or they think is a good sleeper pick. What are your thoughts?
I think Memento is like as a deck is quite good. I've never liked it the way that it plays a bunch of one-offs that like aren't particularly great to draw or interact with. I also like I don't think its end board is the greatest at the moment. I think like whenever I've played against Memento with the Dracotail, like one Dracotail spell card tends to break the entire board on its own. Like the only time I've ever struggled against that deck with Dracotail is if there's a Caesar on the end board. But like you can't really access the Fiendsmith engine the same way you used to be able to in that deck, I don't think. So like maybe not having the Caesar would be a struggle, but like I think sometimes its end board just isn't the greatest. Obviously, you can play a bunch of cards in your deck to make the end board the greatest, but then you're putting even more bricks in the deck sometimes. Like I've seen the end boards that end on like Diabells, or they play a bunch of main deck bricks to like send off of like Aerial Eater and stuff like that. But like I don't really like that approach either. Like the end board of like having both the fusion spells and the 5k guy and like some links, I don't think it's that great, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Han, if you want to know about Memento, shout out to OT Khalid. He's probably one of the best Memento players right now, and as you mentioned, he does have Caesar on pretty much every end board, and yeah, so that's a little tangent there if you want to know about Memento. But yeah, I think we can wrap up here. Shout out to everyone for coming through. 40 viewers in total. This is my best stream so far, so really appreciate you for making that happen, Jordan. We want to wish you good luck for the YCS. Look forward to hanging out, and maybe we can get some testing sessions in sometime towards the YCS. And yeah, wish you all the best on your road to Worlds and all that. And hopefully, we'll see you in the playoffs. And any things you want to say before we close the stream? Any shouts you want to give while you're here?
And no, just thanks for having me on. I mean, I guess I'll shout out my Team Jobber. Jesse supports me a lot. Very happy to be on there, and yep, happy to take the time to go on stream with you.
Yeah, no, pleasure. And also, happy birthday this week. It's Jordan's birthday this week, so